This is a story how a crackhead shut down an entire auto shop single-handedly. In late 2014, I started working for a company called CarX. I worked at one of their quick lube centers because they weren't going to allow me to get into the full service side quite yet. I want to say early 2015, I ended up moving from Indianapolis, where that service center was, to Maryville, Indiana. And while I lived in Maryville, I got a job at the local CarX out here. And I had let them know, hey, if it gets to a point where it's too slow and you guys have another service center in the area, I'll gladly go there. I need to do what I need to do to make my hours because I have a child. They said, it's all right. We get it. We understand it. I said, cool. They let me know which service centers in the area that they actually owned as a company. And at one point, they were like, hey, we have a service center in Gary that only has 2 technicians. They're like, they have, 2 full-time technicians and 1 part-time technician. They were like, we're going to send you out there. So that's no issue. I don't have an issue with it. It's right down the street from my mom's house. I go out there. I start working. I meet the guys. One of the dude is an older guy named Ron. Ron's cool as hell. The other dude, I'm going to be honest, I can't even remember his name. He was there so short. But the reason they were sending me there was to replace that guy, because that dude was a drug addict. And what would happen is anytime somebody would bring an oil change in, they'd hand you an oil change ticket. Then you go to, you do whatever, and then you sell whatever. This dude couldn't sell anything, so they had to have somebody else sell it. And then, he would take off and go to lunch after he was done. He was a great mechanic. He couldn't sell, and he couldn't talk to people, because you could tell that he was a drug addict. Well, what he started doing was leaving work, going, getting messed up, and then coming back to work. And then he'd start slumping. He would get really bad. And then eventually the manager's like, dude, we got to let you go. You're a liability. We cannot have you here. This dude was an ASC certified technician. He was a master technician. But he was hooked on drugs. We couldn't keep him. Right across the street from us was an AutoZone. This guy knew most of the people that went in there because he was at that CarX for years. He had himself a 5-gallon bucket with a bunch of tools and a little sign. Says if you go get an oil change at CarX across the street, have them diagnose your car. They'll diagnose it for free because you're getting the oil change. And if you bring me that paper that says what your issue is, I'll fix it for $40. This man was out there day in and day out for 3 months and single-handedly caused his shop to get closed down. Eventually, that manager left that CarX and went out to the CarX in Maryville after that CarX was closed down. And then that CarX got closed down. Now that one's a Pep Boys. I don't know if he had a hand in that because I left the company by then. But that man was vindictive. And I applaud him for that.